Welcome to another amazing episode of the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. I'm John Chen, CSP, one of the 600 certified speaking professionals in the world, podcasting with you. If you're watching here on social media, make sure and subscribe, share, like, comment. If you make a comment or a question during the program, I might actually answer your question. All right. So if you want to see all the episodes, go to engagingvirtualmeetings.online and subscribe. I think we just crossed over 7,500 downloads. Thank you for everyone who has ever downloaded an episode. And shout out to my very, very, very good friend, Corbin Ball, who I saw in San Antonio, Texas. Corbin Ball, right now, you are clocking the #1 episode for your retirement episode. I sure hope you're enjoying retirement. I really enjoyed having dinner with you in San Antonio. So thanks again. And for those who want to learn how to be more engaging in the world, come to the Engaging Retreat. It's 8th version coming up every October. This year will be hybrid for the third time, October 20 through 22nd. Take your phone out, turn on the camera, scan this QR code, get a free ticket, or of course take one of our paid tickets. We have virtual VIP anywhere in the world. And then if you pay to be in person, you will get stunning 5 minutes of 4K video of you speaking, as well as 3 days of premium education. All right, now back onto the episode. This amazing person, I found out she actually used to live here in Seattle, worked a little bit at Boeing, but I'm very excited to have this conversation. I know that she, like me, would probably say the words, "I'm on a mission," right? She's the co-author with Marshall Goldsmith of the #1 best-selling book, Say It Skillfully. Speak up and make your words matter, right? Win together. She's the founder of Abella Consulting and Say It Skillfully, registered trademark. Her expertise runs deep. She guided 80 executives through more than 80 mergers and acquisitions at Cisco and U.S. Filter. That's tough work. And she is a huge tennis player and fan. Please, let's welcome Molly Tschang. Molly, good morning. How are you?
I'm fabulous, John. How are you? Hi, everyone.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, so why is yellow your brand color? She told me her scarf is her brand color. I'm curious, why is that your brand color?
It's my brand color. We picked the palette. It's one of my fave colors, and it is endured, so we're sticking with it.
Sticking with it. All right. Well, cool. Molly, thank you for being here. We appreciate you and your valuable time. And again, you're on the East Coast. I believe you said North Carolina. Did I get it right?
I am in Cary, North Carolina, the Raleigh area. I love it here.
Well, cool. Well, a few of my friends don't know you, Molly. So take this time to share who you are and what you do in the world.
Well, lots of folks ask, in terms of jobs, it could give you a whole bunch of roles, but I think of myself on 3 levels for people: guardian angel, cheerleader, and difference maker through others. And I am all about creating impact for people around the world. I have a day job. I work with senior management teams to help them win as one, which is to commit to each other's success and build a powerful chemistry to lead together. And I'm as on a mission, as John said, to help people use their voices with clarity, with compassion, with confidence through Say It Skillfully, because I believe you matter. Every single person listening matters. You matter. And the only way for people to know how much you can contribute is if you can make your words matter.
Well, let's talk about this, Molly. So if this is the area you study, all right, you probably have a sense of trends. So why do people not speak up, right? So I've taken years of my own training, and at this stage of my life, I don't have any problems speaking up. But and early on, I understand about it. So I'm just curious, what do you see as the trends with the people that you see and that you work with?
Well, I think there's a lot of evergreen, and I think fear itself is the #1 thing, and that's fear of being wrong, fear of not fitting in, fear of offending someone. And these fears are legitimate. I want folks to not feel like you have to not have them, but to really unpack them. Because if you think about why you're speaking up, and if it's really in service to helping someone, to helping your group, to helping your organization, if that's really why you're speaking up when you have true intent, you can realize that by staying quiet, you're actually not helping. And I think so many people don't appreciate the fundamental construct that communication itself is a team sport. We mentioned this. You're in Seattle. I actually did not work in Seattle. I had a friend who just moved from Seattle and Boeing, but you won the Super Bowl there. The Canes just won the Stanley Cup. We're going crazy about that.
Yeah.
And communication itself takes 2 to tango. Effective communication is about what the other person hears, not what you or I think we said.
So I'm listening to the Audible book, right, of the woman who coined the term psychological safety, and it is definitely one of my hot points. I think psychological safety helps things. For instance, it's one of the core pieces of my own work in terms of creating an engaging meeting. It's like people don't speak up until they think they either feel safe, or the definition, according to Google Aristotle's research, is I feel safe taking a risk, right, in front of my peers. Because saying something out loud in some ways, right, is a small to a very, very big risk depending upon the environment. So again, I'm curious for you, what's your views on psychological safety towards speaking up?
Yeah, I love that you're bringing it up. Absolutely, it is essential. I would say it is essential. And John, I would tell you that it is a bit overblown for this reason.
Hmm.
And that is when you talk to most leaders, right? They want to know the truth. So let's just take out the leaders who want to run it. They want my way is the highway. They don't really care what you have to say, which I honor. That's your company. So we're going to take those folks out. The other leaders, those of you listening, you want to know the truth. You
Mm.
want to hear the tough news. If you have feedback that could help you be a better leader, you want it, right? So I know that they want to create the safe space. They just don't realize some of the ways they inadvertently make it hard for people to say it like it is. And they need other people's help to help them build the self-awareness so that they know. And if no one says anything, we can
Yes.
blame other people all day long and we're going nowhere fast.
Can you share a story without any names? I'm just curious about a story of maybe transformation, like a place that didn't talk, that went to two talking, or again, have you studied appreciative inquiry?
I haven't studied it. No, I mean, I know a little bit about it, but I have not studied it. So I do
So
not claim to have that.
so I did get certified with Cooper Writer, and the one of the things that it was, I'll share this part so to give you some inspiration. They found, the ratio of positive to negative statements in communication is really important. And for instance, you need a minimum of two positive to one, not just one to one. You need two positive to one negative or neutral statement to have a positive environment. And they once did research on a lawyer organization, and it was 50 negative to every positive comment. 50 negative. So again, I'm curious about what do you see inside of, or yeah, do you have a story? Do you have an example?
Yeah. Well, so yes, I think the thing is people when I talk with folks around, let's say around a leader, oh, they'll complain, so and so talks too much, for example. Like, oh, wow, it's a bummer. And you talk to the leader doesn't realize I talk too much. And the reason they don't understand it is because no one says anything. Well, oh, did you say anything? Oh, no, I didn't say anything. I just looked down and typed on the email. I'm like, okay, great. So in the Say It Skillfully world, we have this thing, accurate shared reality. And it takes all of us to create an accurate 360 view of what's going on. And if you out there don't speak up with something you observe or something you're noticing, or maybe it is a difference of what you think are facts, if you don't say it, this is not their fault. You're not contributing. Now, so your point of psychological safety, people, leaders in particular, have to be able to realize, hey, I get the position power. I want folks to know it is your job to tell me. And if I'm doing something or anyone's doing anything that isn't necessarily serving, no one's trying to do bad work. No one's trying to steamroll the team. That's a different, again, I want to take that out. I understand that happens, folks. I'm taking that out.
Right.
Right? We're coming to work. We just want to do good work, get patted on the back and go home at night. So everyone's ability to say, hey, and so just positive, negative. I've been told, I can tell people not great things, but they love it because I'm saying it in a loving way, in a way that helps them be better, in a way where I want them to know Molly is here to help you. I'm not here to look fabulous and make you feel bad or dumb. I'm here because I know that if we all do our best work, we flourish together, which is the whole point of working together in an organization.
Hmm. Hmm. All right. Well, then let's talk around. Oh, well, there are a lot of professional speakers who actually listen to this part. So I'm curious, what is Molly's advice to professional speakers who are learning to or want to, even if they're like intermediate to advanced speakers, they want to say it more skillfully. What's something that you recommend to public speakers or professional speakers?
Well, I think this notion of connection, I just came off of recording one of my own podcasts, and this idea of truly being able to connect as human beings. And I know that sounds so simple. It's not necessarily so easy because sometimes we're all about what's going on in here. And so that ability to help people appreciate why you're there in service to them, and to be able to appreciate what their in context and their environment is like, which takes the curiosity
Mhm.
and the humility to genuinely inquire, to ask, hey, what's going on? And before one gets up in front of folks, it's just great to do, if you will, that homework. Nothing wrong with going up and giving a canned speech and being a talking head. Nothing wrong with that. But that ability to go the next level, to create examples that people are like, oh my God, they are in my world. They get how annoying and how hard it is. That's a next level. Right. And I want to offer to everyone out there, no matter what level you are, you have this power to be able to connect as a human being with someone else. And if they feel seen and they feel heard, that creates the safety, the sense of safety. This person wants to hear what I have to say. And
Mm.
so for folks who facilitate meetings, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, that idea of just going around the room, and it doesn't have to be every voice, just you want to get the different ideas out. So if your idea has been out, hey, I'm tracking, I'm with you. But if you're quiet, we don't know if you're disinterested, you don't understand what's going on, you have nothing to say, right? So you're out, hey, I haven't said a lot. I want you guys to know I'm really tracking with this. I love it. Or, I've heard a lot. I'm one of those people who needs to process. So I need to kind of sit with it overnight. And I'll let you guys know tomorrow what I think. But we
Yep.
can't read anyone's mind.
That's one of the rules in our virtual meetings is pass, which is one is and before that is engage and interact with every attendee. So we are tracking. I actually developed something while I was working with Boeing of all people. It was on a telephone based video program. And we created something called participation maps, which is, it sounds simple. You just put everybody's name, you put a time clock on there, like it's a 1 or 2 hour meeting. And then all you do is just make marks every time somebody says or chat or does something. Right.
Yep.
And then what you should see is, right, somebody said nothing, then, that's a signal for me, the facilitator, to ask at least like, hey, Molly, I haven't heard anything from you yet. Would you like to, is there anything that you'd like to share? And then the second part that goes with it is that way in the beginning of the meeting, we say there's a rule that you can pass. Right. And so you can just say the word pass. Right. And I won't push on you anymore, any way, shape, or form. In fact, I actually mark down that at least you responded, and now I won't bug you for some period of time.
Yeah.
And yeah, with
So,
no
so
consequences.
thank you for bringing that up. MIT has research that backs that up. Sandy Pentland's Media Labs did research, and
Ooh.
the highest performing teams are where everyone contributes in short sound bites. There's no big 10-minute monologue, Molly sharing her view of the world and disengaging everyone, but it does go around the room and everyone is chiming in. And it may be to say, hey, I agree with that, or I'm kind of confused by that. Would you say a little bit more? It might be, I know that was really genius. I didn't actually get it. Do you mind saying it a different way? And for folks who are, I grew up not speaking English until I was 5 and literally so painfully shy and extraordinarily unskillful. So I'm here for everyone to help you realize that it's a totally learnable skill. And it's something where you have a unique voice and it's kind of on you to figure out what works for you. And I think that's something that I'm really passionate about, because that uniqueness is what makes you, the differentiated you. And finding your voice is, I just think, the most empowering thing out there.
So it's funny too, monologuing. They make jokes of it in the Incredibles movie, right? Which is like the villain. What did he do? He started monologuing, and there are actually two tools out there that actually do it really well. One is Virtual Sapiens Assistant. The other one is Yoodli, Yoodli, here from Bellevue. And they give you monologue warnings. Like if you talk more than 2 minutes, right, without giving the other break, it actually shows you a warning because you're monologuing, right?
So here's the deal. It's a self-awareness thing. And so this is where I would offer to teams, if you set up,
Mhm.
hey, we love that someone's so passionate about it. John, I'm
Yeah,
going to interrupt for just a second. It's been about 2 minutes. Wrap it up, right? With a lot of love, not, oh my God, John, you're going again, you're killing me, right? So
that's
do you
right.
notice the
Yeah,
energy with which one shows up makes a
yeah,
huge difference.
yeah. All right. Speaking of energy and good looks, hey, I want to give a shout out to my friend John Copeland. He chatted on Facebook. Both looking good, best looking podcast ever. Great camera shots, backgrounds, and overlay graphics. He loves to see this. John Copeland and I just produced the United States Distance Learning Association, of which he's on the board of directors, which actually has most of the academic colleges that offer remote programs. Isn't that amazing?
Ooh, that's amazing. John, a shout out to you. Great. Thank you.
Yeah, cool. And John, by the way, if you have a question, go ahead and hit it in the chat. But this next question that comes around, then okay, so Molly's right. She's saying it skillfully. This company. When did you start this company?
So the company formally started probably 3.5 years ago, but it's been maybe since 2019, 7 years.
Okay.
And it grew out, just so folks can get this, it grew
Yeah.
out of just a random idea. It wasn't something I pre-planned, and it was started as a passion project. And then I realized I was onto something.
How can a mission in life in your life be random? I don't think it's random. I think you can call it random.
Well, it starts random. This is what I'm saying. Like it was, and I'm serious. Deeply, I am more of an introvert. I derive my energy from within. I've learned, sociability. I like people, but it takes a lot of energy for me. And so I
Yeah.
have a dear friend, Bruce Kazanoff. Give a shout out to Bruce. He's amazing.
Yeah.
And he's a big LinkedIn social media guy. And I was honored to be part of Marshall Goldsmith's 100 Coaches. And he's like, look, I put a video up, but on LinkedIn doesn't really matter. Like I'm post on social media. I'm like, I'm not gonna post on social media. That just was like not Molly doesn't post on social media, right? And so I post this 90-second video role playing how a junior person could speak up in a room full of management, which is of course the scariest thing in the world to ever do.
Sure.
And I thought like 10 people would watch, and thanks to a lot of help from people who shared it, what have you, like ultimately 36,000 people saw this video. And I just know I've been in big companies, right? I've been at IBM, I've been at Deloitte, it was at Cisco. People want to be able to contribute, but they don't really feel like they can, or they don't know how, which is your point. If you have psychological safety, John, but you don't know how to use your voice in a way that you feel comfortable,
Yeah.
then you're still not going to speak up. So it is a kind of a necessary, but not whatever that term is. That's not the only thing you need. And so I really wanted to help build this skill, which is our number one skill for success, and no one teaches us how to do it.
All right. Well, then let's talk about mission. Right. One of the missions that I got on over the last decade is really supporting the Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander community. And again, my own personal stories. I grew up in Stockton, California, third generation. My parents chose not to teach me Chinese as the language, right? Where they took the path of assimilation. So I have this great joke, Molly, that I speak perfect Californese. You know what perfect Californese sounds like?
What?
It sounds like this. Dude, 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 right? Dude. Right? So I speak perfect Californese, but I do not know, right, Chinese, Mandarin nor Cantonese. And so my question to you is really around this is, Asian Pacific Islanders on the communication side, culturally and very stereotypically, have challenges as often being quieter, less blah blah, whatever. I'm actually one of those. Me and my other friend Jolene Jang here in Seattle, we often refer to each other as the only two extroverted Chinese people in all of Seattle. Well, actually, Asian Pacific Islander, because she's actually Japanese Swedish of all things too, right? But
Amazing.
we're both super extroverted and doesn't fit the mold. And so, what I'm asking is, one is, I mean, have you seen this trend? And two, for those type of leaders, it's great. I've been in trainings where they have been able to show how those leaders can maintain their culture and still be powerful communicators. I'm just curious, what experience you have in that area.
Yeah, I have it 100%. I totally agree with that statement. I would say to folks, having grown up in this environment where there's this way right, do this, that Marshall, my mentor, would say, do you have a genetic defect from birth that's the only way you can be? And the answer is no. So understanding and unpacking what holds us back is important. And then you have a choice. And I'm not here to say to anybody, you have to speak up. I think if you want to contribute to your full potential, if you want to lead to your full potential, you've got to be able to use your voice in a way which inspires other people to use theirs. Because the only way we do our best work together is everybody is actually doing their work together and speaking up with what they think. That's why we have all these different people on these teams.
Yeah.
So I think that is something that we just have to kind of come to grips with, whatever the norms are. Maybe, kids didn't speak or women or what have you. And you just have to decide, do you want that to be the boat anchor? If you want it to be a boat anchor, and if you want to use that as an excuse, that's totally fine. I'm just here telling you that that's your choice.
Yeah.
And that I would argue is part of the being part of the problem, because I think everyone out there, I don't know, but I know you have something to contribute. And by the way, you may not necessarily be right, but even wrong information can spur the cognitive functioning of a group. And so to be able to feel like, hey, I'm putting this out there because I think maybe another angle that we could try, maybe the whole group is agreeing on something. Someone should say, maybe we argue the other side just to make sure we're not missing something. And I
Yeah.
just want everyone to know this: when people feel like they can contribute and they're really engaged, you talk about engaging meetings, engaging culture, company, those are places people want to come and work. They don't want to leave. They want to stay, and they want to bring their friends in. So,
Yeah.
I feel that this is something where, and I feel so bad when people aren't having a great time at work. I really do. Because I've had the
But
privilege.
80% of them are not having a good time, Molly. The research says it.
Well, the research says that, and I'm going to say to people, and I get it. Okay. I understand you may have to have this job. It's the only one you can have, but how you show up in your energy, you own it. And if you want
Yeah.
to show up, this place sucks. There's nothing I can do. I don't matter. Okay. You can do that. I'm not here. Or if you want to say, you know what? I think tomorrow can be better than it was yesterday. I see someone I hadn't had a chance to talk to. Let's go out to coffee. Let me figure out who they are. Because undoubtedly they don't know who you are because you haven't really spent time with them, and you don't know them because they haven't spent time with you. So I just want to encourage you that everyone can do more than maybe you give yourself credit for. I get that there can be a fear factor. It's easy to blame, guys. It really is. I get it. John doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't really care. I'm like, really?
I can't do anything, right?
Yeah. And so I do want to say, and I'm a realist. So I get it. If you're at a place, and I say this very honestly, if you're really at a place where people speak up and they really are trying to do the right thing and they're getting hammered for it and they're being fired, my question is, why are you there?
Yeah.
Right? Find a place that deserves you, because you're going to work your butt off. You want to do good work. And I just think you can look at a team saying, hey, is this the best we can be? I know that individually we're all amazing, but maybe it's not adding up. So we kind of got to get out of our own ways. I'm happy to own it. I actually did a video on this, right? I'm happy to own whatever I can do, but I
Yeah.
know we can be better.
Yeah.
Right. And so I am someone who does see things more half full. I get that. But I have to tell you, it's to empower people to feel like you can make a difference. I know everyone can.
Genius. Well, John Copeland actually asked us a question. This is great. So he said, I'm a big proponent of neurodiversity and especially how it relates to the workforce. Most the divergent thinkers or neurodivergent thinkers are reluctant to speak up or comment. What are some strategies to ensure their voice is heard? Good
I
question.
love that question. Thanks. And I also want to shout out for folks who might have a tough conversation. If it's a tough conversation you're facing, I'm happy to unpack it here with John.
Yeah.
So this neurodivergent just was recording a podcast, and this woman who is deaf, has cochlear implants, but is deaf, when she was younger, was literally not put her hair in a ponytail so people couldn't see her implants. But she then realized that being different really was a great thing for other people. And she was educating people on something they didn't know so that they could embrace her. She could ask for what she needed. And so she said, she actually asked her what was a do-over. She goes, I would have been more proud of what I had done and my ability to explain it and educate people so that I could ask for what I needed was one of the things she would have done differently. So the folks who are out there, I want you to say, I'm proud. You're amazing. You've learned in different ways. You've kind of maybe been the 5% out of 95. That's awesome. You don't have to be like braggadocious about it. But you can say, hey, I've got a point of view, or I've got this that's going on. I want to be able to contribute fully, but here's what would really help me to do that. And I'd love to share it with you. I'm happy to educate and answer any questions that people have, create connection. And I had this podcast. I was in awe of this person who overcame way more than I ever had to. And I'm just like, I am like such a peon, traipsing through here. So for sure, the differences, when someone comes from a very different background than
Yeah.
perhaps the rest of the team, you know, leaning into that, saying, hey, share a bit about that. And we'd love to learn more. Being genuinely curious and getting to know someone. Because when I get to know you, I can see you. I can see you if I've gotten to know you, but I never know you if I don't ask. And so that's something that everyone has the power to do. And you don't, I think I get it, this being right, having to kind of be like the strongest one. And this whole notion of vulnerability is a must for trust. Vulnerable, being vulnerable. I don't know. I'm not sure that these are what make us real. And so, yes, it is a judgment call because obviously we want to hire people who overall get the right answers, but we all know that success comes from a series of failures, for
Okay.
sure. So if we're not failing and making the right mistakes, we're never going to achieve our fullest potential. And so
Well,
for the
that's
leaders out there who are shaking your heads, you got to make this explicit. You got to connect the dots with your folks. So if someone does fail fast, you want to say, awesome, more of that, not who said that or why did they fail fast? Like, well, you told us to fail fast and now you're chastising us for it, right? In which case people are never going to do it again.
yeah, they get confused, and that failing. I think I just heard of another culture that was just they actually celebrate the failures, and they as a real you actually get promoted for failures, and it sounds it's tough. I just think it's tough around there that where things are around like that in terms of that vulnerability. When you as the leader actually open with, "I made a mistake, and let me tell you about it." Right? That will open the door for lots and lots of other people. Okay, speaking of mistakes and open doors. Okay, where were you March of 2020, and what happened for you?
So March of 2020, I was in Manhattan, where I
Okay.
was living, and I had the blessing of a dear sister who lives in Denver, and it was just getting kind of bad. And so this whole thing was going down. I will say that my introverted friends and I secretly were like, we kind of absolved and stay
This is
in.
going
So
to be the best time ever.
it was like awesome. And then I ended up heading out of the city and spending time with my sister in Denver, which was more open. And I was not by myself, so I was with community, and I felt very, very, very blessed. So shout out to my dear sister for that opportunity.
Mm. And so, work wise, right? Did you just go fully remote, or did you?
I have had been in my own consultancy since 2014, and I actually, when I was at Cisco, we traveled a lot. So the whole remote, people were sort of, oh, remote. And I'm thinking like, I don't know, this is how we work. So for me, it wasn't a big
Wasn't
thing.
a
I
big deal.
will say that it really was interesting to observe the different experiences of people. And I think to folks, if you have the privilege to be a leader and to have a team, that means getting to know each person for who they are. And if you haven't done that when you're in the office and actually working together, it's a big effort if everyone's no longer right together. And so I
Yeah.
think it really amplified the folks who really had created the connection and ergo the trust
Yeah.
and the working relationships versus those that were maybe only transactional.
Yeah.
And I kind of coach a lot of people say, hey, it's never too late. You can absolutely create connection on Zoom. Let's come up with things that what are the norms that are going to work for us? I have had client engagements 100% on virtual. Now, is
Yes.
it better to be in person? Yes, we love being in person, but it does not mean we can't do high quality work. It does not mean that.
You're gonna love this. I was the MC for the Olympic Peninsula Tourism Summit, and somebody came up because so they really it was really cool and like interesting too, Molly, in terms of conference trends. Right? They all said less talking heads, more collaboration, right? More networking time. So I helped facilitate these conversations around this. Right, like the example I gave is I searched Olympic Peninsula on YouTube, and the number three video with over 500,000 views is a raised bog. Do you know what a raised bog is, Molly?
No.
Okay, so you know a bog, right, is like this way and it's wet, right? A
Mhm.
raised bog actually means that there's a piece of land on top of it and it's like a waterbed. So it's actually water underneath. There's a bog underneath, but you can walk on it, right? And it is apparently like a cool thing. So I'm like, why don't you people create Bog Fest? Right? Because like everything in the world has a niche that where like geologists are like if you are a geologist who's interested in land masses, it turns out that the Olympic Peninsula is only one in three places in the world that has a raised bog. And so why don't you bring people there? It'll be called Bog Fest. The second thing, the reason why I'm telling you the story though, is that somebody came up with the introvert's itinerary. And on the Olympic Peninsula, if you didn't know, and the Olympic Forest is certifiably, they measured with the most sensitive sound meter in the world, the quietest place in the world. And we said there's a silent walk, right? That's like 30 minutes in, and then all the introverts sit there for an hour doing nothing.
I love
And
it.
then you walk out, and then maybe you could talk about it if you want.
You feel refreshed. That's amazing.
Wouldn't that be
My
cool?
friend does, yeah, it's very cool. My friend does forest bathing, and she has, gotten people into nature and that ability to kind of just calm it down, slow it down, breathe, and be present.
Well, side note too, one of my friends, Ariel Hazy, who owns a company called Neurosteer, and so he's actually developed a new way to measure brain waves that's a lot less expensive and a lot more accessible. And he remarked for me, one thing he measured probably 40 CEOs, and they all registered as stressed in their default sitting position. And then the second thing is I actually got a chance to use it. And so I've done some meditation training. He goes, what was amazing was the ability that I have the ability to change my brain waves, right? Just through focus and breathing. And you can actually see, right? So what happens is the colors turn from red to blue, and the blue is the relaxed state. And he goes, John, most people don't have this level of control.
Huge shout out to meditation. I mean, I actually certified in yoga nidra to do to meditation, but I also took the transcendental meditation. Meditation is really decreasing the connections between the fight or flight. It is a physiological thing. It's not a mental thing, and it is absolutely a strategy. And from a wellness standpoint, I do think the data shows out that anxiety and stress, because really is a source of a lot of people's ills. And so your ability just to realize some of the things that you can do. You may not be able to change what's going around you, but you can change how you respond to it or how you don't respond to it. And it's very, again, another great life strategy for folks in a very busy world. And sometimes just dropping in, and it can be 2 minutes of breathing, it can be
Anywhere.
20 minutes in the morning. I really want to offer to folks that is a really, really great thing to invest in, to not feel bad about that. I'm full on meditation.
Yeah, I had a meditation teacher who says it's the thing that pays you back, and it's really hard to understand that till you do it. But I can say this, which is the metaphor he gives is like you're a high performance car, but you're running your engine at full RPMs all day long, even when you're not doing anything, right? And that's really the key. The key is that you can't run. You got to have resting periods. You got to have every top performance coach will also tell you the thing that they're focusing now with athletes is their recovery.
Mm-hmm.
How do you recover
100%.
faster? How do you make sure and allocate the right amount of time? And what are the practices that go along with it? And so, if you don't have those times of recovery, there's no way you're going to have these times of high performance, say when you're speaking to your group or other things. So, I just think that that's how the rested state benefits you as a speaker.
Yeah, yeah. And this ties to the number one principle of kind of managing myself for Say It Skillfully, is leading myself first. And I
Yeah.
think many folks might say, oh, I can't, or no one else. I'm like, hey, at some point you got to do what you need to do. And if you take care of you, believe me, not only will you feel better, but then other people, you can be a real role model, an example for other people. And I really want to offer that this is a fundamental, makes your life way better for many years to come if you spend a little time and give yourself some grace, and give it a try.
Well, I think, and then we'll lead into this, which is, for you. All right. What has to happen for you? What does another speaker have to do for you to be engaged in either a virtual or a hybrid or in-person meeting, from both your introverted perspective and, of course, your skillfully saying perspective?
Well, I think the first thing, I mean, I wouldn't say this in any order, but one item is for sure the energy, and are they all in? It doesn't necessarily mean high energy. It means an authentic energy of just really of caring, of showing up, of like, I'm
Mm,
here, I want to be here, and I have something of value.
good.
It's my choice to decide whether it is or isn't, but they're all in for what they stand for. And
Good.
then for me, this kind of this purpose and like, hey, where's the there, right? We all got stuff to do. Like, I'm someone who is growth and impact oriented. So if there's something I can pull away where I can grow, if there's a way for us to come together and have greater impact, those are meaningful things to me. And so when I have meaning out of a talk, and that meaning might just be, wow, that was an amazing phrase, or maybe one idea that I pulled out of it, and that's worth it for me. I don't necessarily, I mean, I think on the side, it's fun to have fun and those kinds of things, but in the grand scheme of, for me, if someone's all in about what they're doing and I feel like took away something that helped me be a better me, help me serve others, that's a huge win.
Huge win. Huge win. Well, then let's take our eye to the future. In Molly's world, 5, 10, or more years out, what would you love to see in terms of virtual or hybrid for speaking?
Well, I think that we have, I think you talked about it. I think the idea of creating environments where a speaker where the connection virtually is bringing people together and they're having an experience.
Hmm.
Not, let me see the talking head. And again, there's nothing wrong with talking heads because you can learn something. But when I do talks, I don't kind of want to like have a one and done. I want to be in there and say, you know what? Fundamentally, I'm going to be different tomorrow. I'm going to interact differently. I'm going to think differently. I'm going to do differently. And so I think that construct leads to different ways to engage with groups, and groups are unique. And so the idea is, how does this unique group, whether it's big or small, come together in a way to take fullest advantage of your particular talents and experiences? And that's a unique answer. So for me, I think that idea of really being purposeful, of people not feeling like, oh, I gotta go, but I want to go because I feel like I'm going to be better.
Yeah.
That to me would be a huge start. And I do feel like there's so much, I call it collective genius, and we're in organizations, and there's so much, and not necessarily just technical expertise per se, but of experiences of life and the way people see things and how you process. And when you're open to that, that enrichment is what creates the 1 and 1 equals 11. I call that 1 and 1 is 11. We don't want 1 and 1 is 3 or 4. We want
That's
11,
good.
right? Let's go big.
Yeah, we love that. Let's see. Oh, what was it? We were thinking, oh, somebody had a Schoolhouse Rock shirt on yesterday, right? And there was an alien that had a base 12. He had a base 12 counting system, right? I don't know if you remember this
No.
cartoon. Anyways. All right. Well, and on the future side, uh, let's see. On the future side, I had something here for you. Um, yeah. I know what exactly. So what's Molly's view on AI and speaking? Is it making us lazy, horrible speakers, or is it actually making our life better?
So technology in and of itself, I wouldn't judge as good or bad. It's how the people use it. And
The tool.
so let's just
The tool.
not pretend that we're going to blame technology.
Yeah.
I love it. I discovered Claude Cowork thanks to my great buddy Bill Conley. And so I'm like so moved by it because it's just helping me advance thinking, bring things together in a speed that I could never do on my own. So I think it's super fabulous. Do I see how it can be intimidating to people? Yeah, but I think jumping in, understanding it, figuring it out, how do we use technology in a productive way, trying to overcome the fear. I get that the fear is there, but say, hey, there's something exciting here and it's amazing, and we can all be way better. I would say for sure in the very short amount of time that I've been tapped into it, it's totally transformed what I do and how I do it. And I'm by definition not a great writer. I'm just not, and I don't love doing it. So if I can put some ideas and say, hey, package this, and then I can do it in a way that's my voice, I think that that's like superstar. So I don't, I think it's for everyone to embrace in the way that works for you. I think people talk about jobs, and someone said this to me, which is AI isn't going to necessarily take your job, but someone who knows AI and its relevance to your job may be the one to take your job, right? So just dive in, get to know it, make every day a little bit of a learning, make it fun. There's some great newsletters. And interestingly, John, some of the people I know who are doing the coolest thing, they're like 70 years old. Okay. So it's not like this young techie thing. They see how things work and they're able to think about how can this technology take time away or connect dots that I couldn't have connected. So, I just think there's great opportunity.
I have not shown this yet, so I'm going to premiere 60 seconds of it here. And I'm just going to cue you for a question I'm going to ask you a little bit later, Molly, which is
Okay.
like one of the most annoyingest pet peeves on virtual. And one of mine is the phrase when we have a big meeting and then some of the host comes around and they go, let's just wait a few minutes for everyone else to log in. And I detest this sentence, especially because so many people logged in to be on time. It's just it immediately in the first 6 seconds of a virtual meeting insults me that I showed up on time, that I got showered, that I have a mic that actually works, right? And so in AI, right? I got so mad 3 days ago that I made this video, and I'm just about to premiere it. I'm going to finish some other things, but I'm going to premiere this for you. By the way, I'm just going to tell you, Molly, I wrote it in punk rock style. It will be a little jarring. Okay, so that was my trigger alert warning. Here we go in 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the meeting. We were scheduled to start at 9, It is now 9. Let's just wait a few minutes for everyone to log in. Wait! No! Let's punish the responsible people! You clicked the link, you showed up, you showed out. Camera on like a punctual machine. Coffee hot, brain unlocked, ready to rock the digital block. Then some host with a tragic grin says, let's wait for everyone to log in. Congratulations, punctual crew. This meeting just disrespected you. The early birds got worms shoved in their face.
Disrespected you. This meeting just disrespected you. There you go. I don't know. What's my first initial review? Did I do okay? Is it funny?
Well, I think if it's authentically you, you got your point across. It's great.
Yeah, and that's the new AI part, right? So we're just talking about making mistakes, right? 2 years ago, I made an AI video from a speaker parody to A Whole New World, right? You know, A Whole New World, the Disney song. And my friend Dave Caperton rewrote all the lyrics to It's All AI and then gave it to me. Me and another woman sang the song, and then I animated all these top professional speakers using image to video. And it took me 20 hours. And that video, though, only took me 2 hours to make.
Wow. Yeah. Great.
So, okay, speaking of 2 hours, we're almost done with our time. But one of our amazing features that's on here is known as the speed round. The speed round is I'm going to ask you a question. You try and answer it as fast as possible, if you agree. And I'll play some funny noise like this one. So is that something you'd be okay with, Molly?
I'm so okay with it.
Okay, cool. The first question is, best thing you heard someone else say?
Well, it's that listening is the most profound way to show we care.
Oh, best thing you've ever spoke up for?
I think advocating for someone else's voice to be heard.
Ooh, like you said, I think somebody should say something kind of thing?
I think someone has something to say, and giving them space so that they could chime in is actually the most meaningful thing.
Yeah, I think I know what you say too. Like you saw the body language, you know they're like trying to say something, and they somehow or another the whole room missed the opportunity. You know, right? I know it. Yeah. Okay. Best truth from a leader.
I don't know.
Oh, that's a good one. Best tip you haven't said to create a safe space.
That I haven't said. Owning our mistakes.
Owning our mistakes. Well, perfect. Okay, good. Most annoying virtual pet peeve on a virtual meeting.
People who don't put themselves on mute when there's background noise.
Right, and the producer doesn't do it either. Tips to create an accurate shared reality. Ooh, this is a tough one.
Well, this is clearly hearing all voices. And if people aren't speaking up, to create space in a neutral, inviting way, not in a demanding, declarative way.
Wow! Tips for new speakers.
Own your energy.
Oh, yeah. Best way to connect with others.
Be curious and listen.
Good one. And second to last, a speaker you want to give a shout out to.
Oh, well, I have to shout out my mentor and honorary father, Marshall Goldsmith.
Aw. Okay, and short version, how did the two of you meet?
I have a condo that was just one floor above him in New York City. And we had the same person who we got our condos from. And so I always joke that my view was so much better.
Wow, it was a condo war-ish type of, not war, but condo collab. Condo collab.
It was condo collab. 100%.
Oh, you can use that word. There you go, condo collab. And the last one, if you could get people to magically remember one thing from this podcast, what would it be, Molly?
Me, you, we is a simple, flexible framework to help you use your voice.
Oh, well, genius. Well, Molly, thank you for using your voice here. You, of course, said everything skillfully, and I look forward to the next time we get a chance to either meet up online or in person, especially if you come back here to Seattle or so. Sound good?
I would love it. I'm cheering for everyone out there to make their words matter. I hope the mini audiobook is a starting point for you. You matter out there. Make your words matter. And if there's any way I can be helpful, please do not hesitate to reach out.
Genius. Thank you again, Molly, from Say It Skillfully, Molly Tschang. All right, this is John Chen here, and today's podcast, you, me, and we, as a format, as a framework for what are you going to say? And think about maybe if you're listening to this podcast, what's one thing that you could say more skillfully, more craftily, more elegantly? And that's hopefully what you got from today's program. And if you are like John Copeland here and you're watching on social media, make sure to subscribe, share, like, and comment to get even more of these beautiful and amazing tips from lots of my friends and guests. If you want all the episodes, go to engagingvirtualmeetings.online. Over 100 episodes and a new episode dropping every Wednesday on Engaging Virtual Meeting Podcast. And if you want to learn how to be more engaging in the world, this year, every October, this year will be October 20, 21, 22. We are still looking for half of the speakers. If you want to be a speaker, make sure and reply to me, contact me, and I'll tell you how. Otherwise, take your phone out, turn on the camera, scan this QR code, and get a free ticket. Otherwise, look for our VIP virtual tickets, and you can also come here in person, which Molly said, it's a different experience if you are here in person, and I can tell you it's worth it. And last but not least, if you want to be like Molly, make sure and go to engagingvirtualmeetings.com/meet, select interview, and you could be the next guest here on the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. Hey, I'll see you next time.
Don't we start people